Welcome to the engine room. Today we're doing an oil change on my 2020 Grand Cherokee Limited. It has the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6. Have 6 quarts of Amsoil 0W20 full synthetic and an Amsoil filter to go with it. This is the EA15K19. This is a 20 micron filter. Shows it right on the back, which is cool. There's a cartridge filter. It goes down on the top. There's a cartridge with a cap. I thought it was kind of foolish when I first saw it, but it's very clean and very nice. So once you pull the drain plug and then you pull the cap off the filter, all the oil drains out of the bottom of the engine. Super clean, super easy to do. Bought this car with I think 5,000 miles on it, and there's about 49,000 on it now. It's been great, knock on wood. Makes like 295 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque. So anyways, let's do this oil change now. First I'm gonna drain. All right, I got my fill cap. This is the cover for the filter. We'll pull that off in a minute. I'm gonna go underneath and pull the drain plug out first. So engine oil drain plug. It's right there on the side. A little funky, but that's the way it sits. Then you got your composite transmission pan behind it. Front drive shaft, exhaust, and everything else. So that's our plug right there. That is 13 millimeter. So I'm actually attacking this from the front because it's just easier. So I'm at the front of the car, at least I'm underneath it from the front. Okay. There's only 6 quarts in here. All right, we're going to leave that open while we do the oil filter, because once I pull the lid off, it'll let some air in, and anything that's in the filter will drip out of the canister. I'm going to pull this filter cover off. It just pops right up, and then it pulls forward. Put that to the side. That filter cap is right there. Sits down inside. Let's see if we can get a good view of that. So this is a 24 millimeter socket on a 1/2 inch wobble extension. It doesn't have to be a wobble extension, but it definitely helps. I love these. They're great. They give you a lot of clearance. And they just have a little 1/2 inch wrench. It shouldn't be all that tight. Now this is a 12 point. Probably should be using a 6 point, but I don't have one handy. But I'm the last one who put this on, so it's actually, I didn't go crazy on it because the sealing surface isn't the threads. It's there's an O-ring that goes around the actual cap. So it comes with the new filter. So we'll pull off the old, put on the new, and then I always lubricate it and then put it back. But there's no reason to make this thing super, super tight. It just needs to stay in. There's the cap, there's the O-ring, and then this actually has the bypass valve built into the cap. So I talked about that on some other videos about how all the new filters have a bypass valve, or at least all the good quality filters have a bypass valve in them if for some reason they get clogged. So this is built into the cap. This is the OE cap. Pull the old filter out, just snaps up. There's the old filter, and you can actually hear it. You can hear the hear the oil drain down as I pulled it out. So that's the old filter, definitely dirty. This is an Amsoil filter as well, 21 micron. So get some age on it. Oil's not that dirty, but so toss that. There's the new O-ring for the cap and the new filter. Just gonna stick my hand down in here, get a little bit of oil. Lube up that O-ring. And this is just for alignment, I believe, but either way, I'm gonna stick this down in there, make sure it snaps in. There it goes, a little click, very light little detent. And then the trick with getting these O-rings off is you just kind of grab them from the sides, and then you slide your fingers up, and you force it, and it stretches it and creates an area where you can pull it off, rather than cutting it, or because you don't want to scratch up this surface. There's the old O-ring, get rid of that. I'll wipe this O-ring seat down and make sure it's nice and clean, or cleaner at least. It's our new O-ring. I already have some oil on my hands, so I'm just gonna lubricate it. And then I don't want to pull it all the way down on one side because I don't want it to stretch out. So I'm just going to get it on, and then I'll roll it down the neck of the filter cap like that. Make sure it lands in the detent. So it's got this land that's bigger than all the others that it's designed for. As I drip more oil all over the place. Now this cap just goes right back on top, and then I thread it down until this surface kisses the other surface, and then I just give it a little touch. You don't have to go crazy torquing this thing down. There's probably a torque spec for it, but plastic, it's oddball. So snake it in over the top of the filter, start the threads by hand. You can kind of feel where the O-ring kisses. Then I go back with my socket, put it on, tighten. I'll snake my hand down in there and see where it's at. That's it. So it's touching, it's tight enough, and that's it. Oil filter's done. All right, got my oil drain plug and my torque wrench set to 20 foot-pounds. Again, 13mm socket, 20 foot-pounds. That's it. Okay, oil drain plug is back in, torque to 20 foot-pounds. I keep my cover off until I start it, and I like to look inside and make sure that there's no leaks. I've never had any leaks, but it's worth just checking without having, God forbid, pumping all the oil out of the oil filter housing. So, got our fill cap. I already wiped it clean. It's good practice just to wipe around to make sure that when you lift it, you don't drop in anything foreign. So, I'm gonna fill this thing up with oil. 6 quarts. It takes exactly 6 quarts. I've done this a million times, but a lot of time, good practice is to fill it with 1 less quart than it's supposed to. Pull the dipstick, double check it, maybe add the other half, start it, run it, let it fill the oil filter. But I know for a fact this engine takes 6 quarts every single time, and it's perfect. So I'm going to do that now. Similar to the oil filter housing, this has an O-ring right around the top that always gets dry and gross. So I always like to wipe it clean best I can. And then getting a little bit of oil on that O-ring is nice too. Keeps everything happy. So like I'll wipe out there. Wipe that oil onto that O-ring. Just keeps everything fresh and new. It's our 6th quart. Our cap on. Press down, turn. And I leave this cover off because it reminds me to inspect once it's running that filter isn't leaking, that filter housing isn't leaking. Got our oil dipstick off to the side on the passenger side of the engine. I'll wipe it clean. Back in. And we're right at that top mark. So the oil's still making its way down through that driver's side valve cover. So it'll probably come up a little bit and then it's going to fill the housing, so it'll go down a little bit. And like I said, 6 quarts is perfect on this engine. All right, I'm gonna start this thing up, reset the oil timer, and then check this for leaks, put the cover on, and we'll be done. Okay, just got in, haven't started it yet. I'm gonna go with my foot off the brake, accessory, gonna go to run position, and then on the steering wheel, once this thing figures itself out, I can go, yeah, change oil soon, I know. Here we go, okay to reset, and now we're reset to 100%. So now I'm gonna step on the brake, I'm gonna start this thing. Actually, we'll go over to oil pressure, let's do that. Oil temp, oil pressure, okay. Foot on the brake, starting, and there it goes. Some people say that that's fake. I don't know. Hard to say. They say it's calculated just off of engine RPM and everything else, which does seem a little bit odd that it went to 80, but I think I'm sure there's got to be some kind of electronic regulator in there. But either way, we got good oil pressure. I'm gonna check that the filter housing isn't leaking, and then we should be done here. Okay, engine running. I just look down in here. I spilled a little bit, so that's me on the side. I spilled over the fill tube, but nothing's squirting out. If that thing was leaking, it would be spraying everywhere because that's getting full pressure, full oil pressure, right down in the valley. That's about it. See everything down in there. So they actually make an aluminum housing for this. This is a plastic housing. They make a oil cooler combo aftermarket. It's all aluminum because people have complained that these break, but I don't know. So anyways, that's about it. Cover slips forward, drops down, and that's it. All done. I let this go to about 4,000 miles for the most part. Could probably get away with a hell of a lot more than that, but for the $50 worth of an oil change, it's worth the longevity of the engine. And that's it. Finished here. All done. On to the next.